What's up, everybody? It is Casey with Two Worlds Podcast, and with me as always. Actually, this time I'm by myself. Jake's not here with us today. He said something about setting up the men of comic headquarters sexy calendar, I think, or he's doing something. I wasn't paying attention. So you're stuck with just me. I just showered. I've been working all day, so I look insane. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you're lucky. But we're just gonna get into the news. Good bit of news. Lots of comics. A lot of Casey. This is the Caseycast week. But yeah, to start, Sony had made a bunch of announcements. So we have a new Venom movie. It's coming out, which it's from what I've heard about the last Venom movie with Carnage. I mean, it's only up from there because I did not hear good things. There's the third Spider-Verse movie title has been revealed. It's going to be called Beyond the Spider-Verse. They already know the second Spider-Verse movie is going to be a hit because that's all they got going for them as far as Spider movies. And they are going to make another Ghostbuster movie, which I still haven't seen the last one they made. I wasn't very hot on it because it's still wow, you just couldn't have done this when Harold Ramis was still alive, so I'm still pretty salty. And then this is the weirdest one. Sony is making a El Muerto movie starring Bad Bunny. And I just want to know, why are they doing all of these movies? I actually looked up who El Muerto is because I had never heard of him before. And I'm going to try to edit the video so you can actually see what this dude looks like too. We'll see if that works, but I'm going to be trying to. But I'm going to read from his Marvel.com page on his bio. The powers and mask of the super-powered wrestler El Muerto have been passed down generation to generation. Each wrestler had to prove themselves to their oppressor, El Dorado, so that they could remain alive and keep their powers. When Marcus Estrada presented his son, Juan Carlos, to El Dorado, Juan Carlos cowered in terror. Unwilling to fight him, Marcus Estrada sacrificed his life to try and save Juan Carlos. Out of respect for his father's courage, El Dorado granted Juan Carlos 10 years to travel and become brave, and then to duel a masked wrestler and unmask him. 10 years later, El Muerto traveled to New York City and approached J. Jonah Jameson to set up a charity event, a wrestling match in which El Muerto would fight Spider-Man. Jonah organized the match, hoping that El Muerto would defeat and unmask Spider-Man. El Muerto and Spider-Man both attended the match, and Spider-Man was confident he would easily defeat El Muerto. The tide turned, and El Muerto nearly unmasked Spider-Man. Reflexively, Spider-Man stabbed El Muerto with his stingers, injecting him with a paralyzing poison. Spider-Man rescued El Muerto in the hospital when El Dorado came to claim his life. El Muerto came to and aided Spider-Man in defeating El Dorado. El Dorado still managed to escape before they managed to defeat him. So they're making a movie on that. It's what are you doing, Sony? You have all of these good just characters that they could be using in the Spider-Man universe, and it's nah, we're gonna stick with the villains. And who needs a Spider-Gwen solo movie, or a Scarlet Spider movie, or any of these other character movies. Well, yeah, people who want everyone wants Andrew Garfield to come back for another movie. We won't do that. We're gonna make a Sinister Six one. Everyone wants Tobey Maguire back. Nah. I think El Muerto is the way to go. More Morbius, please. I don't get it. So the Batman 2, it's official, surprising no one. I think everyone kind of knew that was gonna happen. Reeves, Pattinson, and the rest of the gang are going to be returning. So that kind of just gives the question, who's going to be the villain? Everyone's kind of saying Mr. Freeze is going to be the big one, which makes perfect sense. Because, or not really perfect sense. I don't know how that would fit too well, but that's kind of what all the rumors are pointing out at. But here's a question to you guys if you're watching, since Jake's not here to, answer this. Who would you want the villain to be? One of the thoughts that me and Jake had talked about via text would be Mad Hatter, because that would be a new one that we haven't seen before. And I said played by Nicolas Cage, which could either be amazing or straight up the worst thing we've ever seen, because that's kind of how Nicolas Cage operates. And then I was thinking also like Killer Croc is a very good one for this universe, and that would also fix the trash that whatever that was in a Suicide Squad. If we got like a more comic book accurate, and even like the Batman animated series Killer Croc style, where it's like, oh, he's got the skin disease, he was a circus freak, and now he's eating people. That would be rad. But and a lot of people are saying Clayface, which I think could be cool, but I don't think it fits. That's my main problem with Mr. Freeze. I don't know how well he fits into this universe. But Clayface, and if they go with like the animated series Clayface, which is the one that everyone wants, that doesn't work in this universe, in my opinion. I mean, maybe they'll make it work, but like if you go with like Golden Age Clayface, which for those of you that don't know, Golden Age Clayface was like a dude that wore like a clay mask and he killed people. And I only know that because Casually Comics, she did a whole like 6-part video on the Clayfaces, which you should watch. It's if you want to hear about all of the Clayfaces. It's very entertaining too. Yeah, and so just down below, tell us who you think would be a good, villain, and if you have like dream casting too, that'd be fun to read. Kevin Feige announced at CinemaCon that they will be doing a Marvel movie retreat to plan out the next decade of movies. Decade. That's insane. Think about all of the dang, like they are gonna be scraping the bottom of the barrel here in a little bit, since they won't recast. So I don't know how well this is gonna work, but we'll just have to wait and see. There's like, I don't get this. I don't get the love for Kite Man, but I also don't watch the Harley Quinn show. But Kite Man is getting a spin-off. It's going to be by HBO Max, of course. It's called Noonan's. Kite Man and Golden Glider opened a bar in Gotham, and then they have to fight crime to kind of keep the bar open. I guess their bar is not very good. So that could be fun, but I probably won't watch it. Batwoman's and Legends of Tomorrow have been canceled by CW. Man, I was watching some clips after the Legends of Tomorrow's got announced that it was canceled. People were posting online, and it looks like such a fever dream. Like there was this episode where they had Obama on it for, like if anyone here that's not watching it, that just listen to us talk about stuff, and it's like Gorilla Grodd went in the past to make America Grodd again. And that's an actual line that they said. And he was going to kill Obama. And then this kid that's supposed to be playing Obama gave like the worst Obama impression. And, he's just like, he's trying to talk the monkey out of killing him. And like, that was like this thing that was going around on Twitter. I'm like, wow, I'm glad I only watched like 2 episodes of this. But yeah, so those are both being canceled. This was exciting because I never thought that they would do a sequel to this. But Kung Fu Hustle, which if you've not seen this, it has probably like my favorite martial arts fight scene in a movie ever. And I'm gonna break that down really quick because it's so cool, and I would recommend YouTubing it. So like this guy is pretending to be a member of the Axe Gang, and he like, I'm gonna set off the Axe Gang's firework to get everyone, get them to come, and he tosses it and it actually just hits an Axe Gang guy. And so then he's like, which one of you did this? And then the dude that was pretending to be an Axe Gang guy, he's like, oh, it was him. And he points at like the person he was arguing with. And so the Axe Gang guy's gonna kill him, and because the dude's kind of being snotty. So then he like brings his axe back, about to hit him, and then it just cuts to that guy ending up in a trash can, and he's like foaming at the mouth, and he's like, how did I end up in this trash can? And they're like, we didn't see. And he's like, call the rest of the gang. So they actually, he shoots off a real Axe Gang thing, and like the whole gang, and there's like hundreds of people there. They all show up, and the boss is there. He sees him and sees the dude, his guy is dead. And he's like, which one of you did this? And none of them are saying it. So then they just grab this, like, these 2 kids, put them in the middle of the thing. They get some gasoline, they toss it on it, and he's like, I'm gonna give you the count to 3. 1, 2, and he just tosses it, and this dude catches the lighter, and he's like, it was me. And then they all start attacking him, and so he starts fighting them off, and then other stuff happens. But you have to Google Kung Fu Hustle like first axe gang fight or something and watch it on YouTube. It is super cool, like after you're done watching this, you know. But yeah, they're making a sequel to that, and it should be pretty awesome. We just got the poster, nothing really else to it though, and yeah, it should be a good time though. Disappointing news, Netflix scrapped the Bones series because, like, you know, something that people, they're losing money, so they're like, you know what, people, what we need to do to get this money back is cancel something that people have been excited for, and then like release some stuff that no one wants and raise prices. That's gonna help us. So we'll see if this, you know, it's a weird strategy, but let's see if it pays off for them. So reportedly, Tom Hardy, Idris Elba, Henry Cavill, and Jacob Elordi are all being eyed to be James Bond. And Idris Elba, I know he's like the same age as Daniel Craig, so I think he's a bit out of that, out of it for that. In my opinion, Tom Hardy just does not look like Bond. And he'd probably do like a weird accent because he always seems to do weird accents. I like Tom Hardy, but there's so many movies where it's like, you don't even need to be doing an accent here, and he's just doing his accent. And Henry, I mean, you know, me and Jake both have huge crushes on that man, but I think he's too big. Like, how am I supposed to believe that, you know, this one guy is beating the crap out of him like Jaws used to beat the crap out of him, like how they always have the muscle in the James Bond movies? How am I supposed to believe any of those people can actually touch Henry Cavill? You know, I'd be like, huh, that's not believable. Look at him, he's Superman. And I don't know who this other Jacob Elordi person is. I googled him. He's on Euphoria, and it's like, wow, you're going with like dudes that are, you know, one dude that's for sure too old. Tom Hardy looks like he's 80 half the time. I know that's an exaggeration. He looks like he's like 40 to 50, which would be too old. Cavill's perfect, but he's too big. And then this kid, Jacob Elordi, is like, you know, 12. It's like, what are we doing here, guys? We gotta do something better than this. But I'd probably check it out if Henry Cavill got it. Like, I watch about everything he's in, so tell us who you want to be James Bond too. You know, like, keep the talking going. John Watts has departed from Fantastic Four, and also this is a little bit of a spoiler, but some leaked footage from the old from Twitter for the new Doctor Strange movie has leaked, and there might be some spoilers for a character that's gonna be in it. So look it up if you want. I could tell you, but I'm not going to because I don't want to spoil it for the people that are listening. They're like, I don't want spoilers, and I also don't know how to fast forward. And then today, Square Enix has sold off multiple like of their video game titles, like including Tomb Raider. And the reason why they did it is to invest in crypto. Like, what are you doing? I mean, I know Tomb Raider, like, some of the later ones weren't selling that well, but I remember as a kid, like, that was, you know, such a big deal. They had comics, they had movies, and, like, this new movie kind of sucked, but still, like, if you get that in the hands of someone that knows what they're doing, add a little bit of sex, because we talk about Nightwing's butt all the time. You know, you just give Lara Croft some honkers, but you still make her cool. And, you know, I mean, it'll be the same thing. It'd be Dick Grayson's butt, but, you know, with boobs. That'd be the thing. So you do that. You can make friggin' money off of the NFTs with the Lara Croft NFTs. People be paying out the wazoo for that for some reason. But now they're like, we'll just sell it and invest in crypto because that's a much better money-making opportunity than this. Doesn't make any sense to me. Explain it to me, YouTube commenters, please. So Charles Soule is the creative consultant for Lucasfilm, which that's pretty exciting. We'll see, how that turns out. I'm really hoping that he gets to do a live action War of the Bounty Hunters or whatever that'll span all of their TV shows. So you get some that Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, just Obi-Wan, all of them. Just have them all cross over and do a big 50-part episode just for Jake. Okay. Melissa McBride has left the Daryl and Carol Walking Dead spinoff, which I wish it would just be called Daryl and Carol because that's hilarious to me. I don't know why. Probably because it rhymes and I'm very easily amused. So now it's just going to be the Daryl spinoff. It sounds like that show's not going to get made, if I'm being honest. If one of the main people have left, I don't think it's going to be a thing anymore. And then I'll go with the depressing news and then like the round robin news. So Neil Adams passed away. I'm gonna have that be the Fantastic Four when I talk about some of his covers. But yeah, he was a very talented artist. I'll try to find the tweet that DC pulled up about him because a lot of people are pulling up tweets about him, and DC's was just pretty solid. And I actually never met Neil Adams. I had many opportunities, but I don't think I could ever afford his autographs because that was the one downside. Is he knew his worth, and it's one thing too if you're not a very awkward person that knows how to, like, if you were like, oh yeah, I'm very comfortable in my own skin and I can talk to this person easily, but when it comes to me talking to like a comic book legend, like when I met Chris Claremont, I was able to get like one sentence out and it was like kind of awkward, not gonna lie. And and then I paid $5 for that autograph, so it's not as big of a deal as like when you have to pay $20 for an autograph, because like he's going to talk to you. Because like that's how you always, when you go past this thing, you'd always see Neil Adams just talking to people, having full conversations with these people that are paying for an autograph because he knows that's part of it. And very nice. And this is the DC tweet. The modern comic landscape would not be what it is today without the incomparable work of Neil Adams. Neil portrayed heroes as both super and human in equal measure. His work on Batman, Green Lantern, and many more was revolutionary. DC joins the world in mourning his loss. And really, his Batman stuff looks amazing. Some of his stuff later on, it kind of got overly stylized for my taste. Like when I talked about his Fantastic Four, I wasn't super hot on that when he was working with Mark Waid. But in all honesty, comics they really wouldn't be what they are today without him. So yeah, he was amazing, and like I said, his Batman is incredible. He created Ra's al Ghul, and I actually have a Ra's al, like one of his, like the big, I think they're Prestige, is what they're called. I don't know, hanging on my wall. It's a Batman like screaming. When I talk about the Neil Adams covers, I'm hopefully gonna have it popped up on the screen. We'll see if I'm able to do that. Okay, and then lastly, it is round robin news, since we talk about that as much as I can. So the round robin is down to the final round. It's Superboy versus Suicide Squad Dark. And people are like, a lot of people are complaining like, oh, well, I guess the Suicide Dark is gonna win because they got the Batman and it's just Batman book, because that's how people on Twitter talk when they're mad about things. But one thing that I thought was kind of neat, the writer, and this is what's got me kind of torn. Like I still want Superboy to win because I like Superboy, but the Suicide Dark, this is gonna be pretty cool to some of you guys, I think. A little bit about Suicide Dark, as we're going into the this is from Zach Thompson, it's on Twitter. A little bit about Suicide Dark as we're going into another round. It's first and foremost a team book. Vampire Batman is in it, yes, but he is not the main character. He's the story's Rick Flag, the field leader. That said, the others on the team are big egos. I see folks talking, and again, this is a different tweet. He's like, I see folks talking a lot of smack about Vamp Batman, but I assure you, in my mind, Zatanna and Raven are the heart of the book. They're part of the local prisoner team and stick close together. That's all I'll say for now. So that's pretty exciting. I love Zatanna. I like Raven. Like honestly, my favorite Raven's the Teen Titans cartoon Raven. Most of the other Ravens I'm kind of so with, but it sounds pretty cool. And but I'm still rooting for Superboy, but I won't be. I'd actually check that one out when it comes out. And yeah, that's the news. So we'll go to break, and then I'll talk about the stack of comics that I have to read, or not that I have to read, that I already read. Okay, be right back. Okay, guys. So I know when Jake did this by himself, he was like, I'm not gonna do a YouTube only thing. But guess what? I'm not Jake. So I've been thinking a lot about what I wanted to talk about, and G Fest is coming. Like not coming up. It's in July, and I can't decide if I want to go because it's like there is a lot, like the people that are gonna be there as guests. There's only like 3 of them, and it's no suit actors, which is like a real shame because I want to meet the suit actors, and actually like a lot of the suit actors that are gonna be that I want to meet are actually gonna be in Indianapolis, which is like I have to go to this Indianapolis show. That's like I think in like August or something. Like I have to see them because like it's like Ultraman and like a couple different Ghidorahs, the Millennium Godzilla, like all of these guys. So I do like I'm like yes, that's one that I have to do. G Fest, it's like the kid from Godzilla versus Hedorah, which that's pretty cool. And then it's also like the lady from I think it's Terror Mechagodzilla. I don't know. But it's also her, which it's like that'll be cool to meet her too. And then I can't believe I'm blanking on this guy's name, but this dude from Godzilla Final Wars who's also like basically like UFC fighter before UFC was a thing, Pride Fighting, that's what it was, and big mustache. He kind of looks like if they made a gritty Mario movie, this is who they'd get. But yeah, and like a big problem. Like I was still like, yeah, I'd still go. Like I mean, a big thing that I don't like is I'm gonna be spending lots of money because like that's the big thing with G Fest. It's mostly just you go into a room. There's just tons of Godzilla toys, and I don't have a lot of room left for Godzilla toys, and so that's a downside. And then Artist Alley, I don't really care about there, honestly. And they're like the Artist Alley there is kind of being killed, it seems like. But then with the celebrities, like I want to get my picture taken with them, but they have a rule since they're from Japan. Like that's I think the big part of it because the dude that was the one American, the dude from Final Wars, I'm still can't believe I'm blanking on his name. He doesn't care about the masks. But since the two Japanese actors, they do, and I want to get my picture taken with them. I don't want to be wearing the dang old mask like for the picture, So that's the one thing that's kind of making me that, and plus then like I get to all of the suit actors in Indy, so it's like, do I really need to spend double the money, And also, if I do go to G Fest, this is just a thing. Pass on to you guys. You tell me if you think I should go or if I shouldn't or whatever too. But if I do go to G Fest, it would just be me. It'd be no Jake, so I'd have to get the okay with him. But if I did a blog, like a blog, that type of nonsense, where I do the different videos and I show the stuff I get and try to edit it on here, like I'm gonna try to edit this video. Would you guys be interested in seeing that? I'm kind of torn on it because like I don't want to do that by myself. It'd be more fun if like I add like a C2E2 with Jake, where we can both then play off of each other. Probably Mike would be there, whoever else. I think that would be better. But again, if you guys were like, no, I think that'd be really cool. We think you're so fun, Casey. We love you. I'd be like, oh, thank you. But yeah, that's all I got. We're going to talk about some comics now. All right. And we're back. Okay, so the comics that I read this week. Oh, it's a big old stack. So Last week, Catwoman Lonely City came in, and I did not notice it in my box until I was about to throw the box away. Then I was like, oh, surprise Catwoman. So that's pretty sweet. And then I read The Amazing Spider-Man number 1, Aquamen number 3, Teen Titans Academy number 14, Death of the Justice League number 75, Godzilla Rivals King Ghidorah, Hotel 5 of 5, Newburn number 6, Silk number 4, Deathstroke Inc. number 8, Robin number 13, Joker 14, Godzilla vs. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 2, Thor Funeral for an Allfather number 750, Action Comics 1042, The Last Ronin issue 5, Saga, and Rogues number 2. Okay, so I'm going to start with Catwoman Lonely City since that came out last week. But this is by Cliff Chiang, and it's awesome. It shows some of the stuff that Catwoman went through when she was in jail. You have a character's death, which it's like, it's really unexpected. That's one of the nice things, since this is an out of continuity book. When people die, you're surprised. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. It's not like, you know, no one's really safe. Like, you think at the very least Catwoman's going to survive from issue to issue. But that's about it. And then we get this new character brought in, which is not someone that I expected. The only real downside, like, I don't like that there's kind of a love story kind of going on in this one. It kind of seems not, like, kind of seems out of left field for me personally. I'm not a big fan of that. And I'm trying to think of it. Oh, and then the fact that the next book comes out in August. We have to wait till August for this, but it's super good. I really like this book. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. I don't know why I was struggling with the 10 on that. Okay, so next up is The Amazing Spider-Man number 1 by Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr. And I don't like John Romita Jr.'s art. I really don't. At times it's fine here. Other times it's really bad, but like, it's still readable. So like, I remember when Planet Hulk, so I had a subscription to Hulk back in the day when Planet Hulk was going on, and I, you know, and before that too, but then like Planet Hulk started going on and it was awesome, and then World War Hulk happened, and since like World War Hulk was like an event book, I got stuck with the Hercules side of things, which I like. That's what made me fall in love with the character. So I'm, you know, look back, I'm happy with that. And I never knew what happened in the main title, like the event, you know, World War Hulk event book. And when I would look at it at Walden Books, I was like, this is unreadable, because it was John Romita Jr.'s art. I'm pretty sure it's John Romita Jr. It looked like that. And I hated it. But like, he draws Spider-Man pretty well. And for the most part, I'm still not super hot on it. His tombstone looks rough at times, though. And, you know, Pete's going through it. And this was spoiled for me, so I'm just going to spoil it for you guys. MJ's got kids, which doesn't make any sense. And it's not with Pete, it's with some dude. So that's a bit weird. But yeah, the story is actually pretty entertaining. I'm kind of invested after one issue. So I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. The art brings it down, but I would still recommend it. If you're a Spider-Man fan or Spider-Man curious, I would say this, start with this. It's going to be good. Aquaman number 3, and this is by Chuck, please stop calling me Charlie, Brown, and Brandon Thomas and Max Rayner on the art. This one's the best issue yet. I figured it would be, because the other two are just kind of building up. And plus we get a Frankenstein sighting, which is sweet. Yeah, so Jackson's kind of being still his edgy self like he has been. We get some Batwoman stuff, and like, it's annoying to me that they do this a lot in comics. Like, first off, Batwoman helps out Jackson. She's like, Jackson, you need to tell me? And then, something you need to tell me? And then, he's like, Batwoman. Oh, Kate. It's like, what's the point of having your secret identities if you're just going to talk? I know it's on a rooftop, but you still, there's cell phones everywhere. Like, that stuff annoys me. But yeah, so they do a little bit of fighting, and then at the end, the next issue should be pretty sweet. Black Manta's being very overprotective of his son. You love to see it. So yeah, I'm probably at a 6 on that one. It wasn't great, but like I said, best issue yet. It's something that, and I'm pretty excited for the next one. Oh, and there's some Mara and Aquaman drama going on, because she's like, oh, you lied to me, and he's like, yeah, that's true. Okay, so Teen Titans Academy number 14, and this is by Tim Sheridan with the very nice art, I must say, by Tom Derenick. And so you get 3 different kids graduating from the Teen Titans Academy. It's Wallace and some other kids from the other Teen Titans book, like Red Arrow. Is that Red? That's not Red Arrow, is it? I don't know. But like 3 characters that we haven't been able to get invested in because, we're not getting invested really in any of the characters, because as much as I do enjoy things with Tim Sheridan, he only does like brief snippets of every character, and there's too many characters for brief snippets, So that was a bit of a letdown. And it's also like, I'm not gonna lie, the one character that he uses the most is Rags, and they are just getting on my nerves. But then we also get a character that gets introduced that's very much a George Perez homage, and I'll try to get the actual picture better, like I said, drop the comic, but like I said, get the actual picture up like I want to do the others. We'll see if I'm able to, but yeah, it's one of the characters, his uncle, and he's super super nice, has a beard, is an artist, and we also get to, they go looking for Shazam and stuff, and the demon girl from the Shazam books there. It's just like, I really think, and I don't know if this is right or not, but I think Tim Sheridan had like a lot more plans with this book of having more tie-ins and stuff, and it probably just didn't sell well enough or something, so he just didn't get to, because that's the only way that this book would work well to me, with all the different stuff that he has planned out. But I could be wrong. So yeah, I'm at a 5 for this. The art in it's good, and it was enjoyable, but it's still just like, all these things that happen, I'm still not invested. Okay, so next up, it's Death of the Justice League by Joshua Williamson. And see, that's the nice part. When Jake is here, he can usually, while he's talking and I'm like nodding, I'm usually looking through the books and being like, I've started doing that so I get prepared. But now I don't have that. But this book has one of my like least favorite moments in comic book history. And that's when a certain character dies, but I am not finding the... I know Williamson wrote it. Boy, this is great for you guys, huh? Oh, gosh darn, I'm stupid. Okay, so this is by Joshua Williamson and Rafa Sandolva on the art. And yeah, so like all the Justice Leaguers get kind of, not all of them, but a bunch of them get grabbed from random spots. So you get, Batman being stolen, Wonder Woman, Superpower John, Zatanna, Superman, Hawk Girl, Aquaman, Martian Manhunter, Black Canary, and then Oliver's like, oh, take me with you, and so then he goes with her, and Captain Carrot's there. It's Justice League Incarnate's like, hey, we need your help, and we got our butt kicked in the last issue and stuff, and then the things shows up to fight them, and they have control over all these villains. It's a really cool splash page that I'll try to put up here. Like I said, I'm figuring things out, and they're all weakened, and that's what they kind of say, because they're being controlled, so they're not like at full power. So you got like Doomsday and Necron and Trigon and Eclipso and the Upside Down Man and all that stuff, and they're fighting them and whatnot. And it's like, I saw that, I'm like, it's stupid that Green Arrow's there, and I think everyone was thinking that, even Williamson, because then Williamson's like, I'm gonna have him shoot the arrow that blows up the machine, and then he just gets again, my favorite part, because I'm not a Green Arrow guy, just wrecked by Doomsday. I'm gonna post that one up too, if, like I said, if I can. And then, like, what's so stupid to me is, this guy that they're fighting, he's a dude from the original Crisis and stuff. He's like, oh, hey, guess what? I could have killed you all with my own hands the first time. And he just, after having all these guys fight him, gets his machine blown up and all that stuff, he's now just like, well, bye-bye. And he just kills all of them, except for Black Adam, I think. I think that was it. I'm going to double check now. But yeah, it looks like Black Adam's the only one that survives. They even killed poor old Captain Carrot. And then Black Adam shows up, and Wally, John, and Naomi are the ones that find his body. So yeah, it was an interesting time. I saw the whole list of all the tie-ins for this. Oh boy, I thought I was reading a Marvel book for a second. But yeah, I mean, it's not great. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not like in love with this at all. And the fact that the dude's just like, I'm super powerful, die. He just kills them like that was just super lame to me. But it was still good. Like, I know I just kind of crapped on it a bunch, but Joshua Williamson's really, really, really good at writing stuff. So I actually had a fun time reading it. It's just like, when you think about things, it's not the best. So I'm going to give it a 7, probably. I liked it still. And I am going to read most of the tie-ins. Like, there's a Young Justice whatever tie-in. I'm not going to read that because I don't think that's going to be important. Alright. So next up, it's Godzilla Rivals vs. King Ghidorah. This is by Adam Gorham. And boy, this was just so much fun for me. You have, just Godzilla fighting a bunch of UFOs, some zillion UFOs. And that's what's funny. Zillions are the villains in this. And then they're also the villains in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers book. That's just funny to me. I like it. But, yeah, so they're fighting this. We get some really great picture, really great art moments. Godzilla gets abducted. And then he's having to World War Hulk it and fight in a big gladiator thing. And then we get some Jet Jaguar. It's just such a fun time. I hope Jake read this. Yeah, I mean, I really don't have any complaints. I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. It's just a great time. Hope Godzilla gets back to Earth. Okay, so Hotel number 5 of 5. This is by John Lees and Dalibor Talajic. And so now it cuts to present day, because all of these have been leading up to this, with the guy that runs the hotel, telling these people this story. And yeah, they just, these bad guy bikers just get wrecked. That's basically the best way of putting it. It's one of those things where it's, it's just like, surprise. This is terrible things just happened to you because you're a terrible person, basically. And, I'm into it. This was really good. I like this more than this ending was a lot better than the last ending, in my opinion. John Lees is really good at writing horror. I would recommend this book to anyone that wants, just a pretty kind of cool, creepy book. It even had tie-ins to the first one. It was a good time. I'm gonna give it a. I'm feeling 8.5 on that one. Okay, Newburn number 6, and this is by Chip Zdarsky and Jacob Phillips. And so we're getting a little bit more backstory on Newburn's, helper lady and whatnot. I liked it. I liked this issue a whole lot. Like, we get more of her story, more of this one dirty cop, and that's kind of how it ends. And like her connection to the police force and stuff. I'm very interested in seeing where this goes. This seems like the first time we're actually getting like a more than one issue story in this series, which I'm all about. I'm gonna give it a probably another 8.5. It was really, really good. That's a book that you guys should be reading for sure. Okay, so Silk number 4 by Emily Kim and I apologize. Takeshi Miyazawa on the art. The art in this book is so great. Silk's an old lady after the last issue. She just can't quite work as well as she wants to. Her date's like, hey, what's going on? Like her brother doesn't recognize her. She gets beat up by some people. J. Jonah Jameson gives her a ride, which was hilarious. And then she's going to be fighting the old witch. And should be pretty dang cool. I love this book a lot. It's just a really, really good time. It's so weird that I'm now like Silk stan, probably number 2. I think Jake's number 1. So I'm gonna say I'm at a 9.5 for that one. I really, really liked it. Okay, so Deathstroke number 8, and this is by Joshua Williamson and art by Paolo Pantalera. And I'm not super hot on this art. Like, that's the main thing that I don't know. It's just like not my cup of tea at all. I'm curious if Jake liked it. But yeah, so it's just kind of like what's going on with, the League of Assassins attacking Deathstroke's people, and Deathstroke shows them stuff. And I want to say this one thing. There's a part where they go to one of Deathstroke's old hideouts where he was like when he was fighting the Teen Titans, and then he had cardboard cutouts of the Teen Titans that he would use as target practice, and people on Twitter are like, huh, look at this idiot. He still fights the Teen Titans and he's got all this stuff. What a loser. Because, like, people on Twitter hate Deathstroke for some reason. It's weird. Like, in the comic book stuff that I follow, they all crap on Deathstroke, and I don't get it. But it's like, he even says in the book, this is an old hideout from when he was feuding with them. It's not his current stuff. Like, he doesn't deal, that's not who he is really anymore. Like, he's not having to worry about that. So, it's like, reading's hard, guys, I guess. But, yeah, this is a interesting time. I'm still not like I have a few ideas on who might have been the one to do the whole killing a Deathstroke or a Ra's al Ghul, but I'm still really not sure what's going on there. But I'm interested in seeing where this goes. I'm here for the ride still. This was a weaker issue, but it was just really build up for Robin, which I'm getting to right after this. So this will be a 7.5. And now on to Robin. Okay, so Robin's by Williamson and Roger Cruz on the art. This is such an upgrade in art, in my opinion. You get a fight between Robin, Slade, Ravager, and Respawn. And then, like, Robin and Respawn, they both kind of talk, and Respawn's like, look, I'm you, and then this is one of the parts that was pretty stupid. He's like, and then Robin's like, I have a brother, and he's like, not for long. He gets like, because after he like calms him down, and like, oh, you need to trust, we're brothers, blah blah, and then as soon as Robin's like, I have a brother, he's like, not for long. Like, he just 180, didn't make any sense. But they fight for a little bit. Batman shows up, and then like also this is another thing too, where he's like what? or I gotta do, So Batman shows up, and then he's like, David, stand down. It's like, how did you? You left a trail, son, which makes me worry that you too would be caught in. You're too caught up in your rage. Deathstroke is, what? And then there's Respawn there, and he's like looking at Respawn. It's like, who are you? And Slade's like, that's my boy, not yours. It's like so weird that he's getting so like possessive over his clone son. But, whatever. And then they murder, like the villains murder a guy in front of Deathstroke that Deathstroke wasn't gonna, didn't want to save. And then Deathstroke sets up a bunch of bombs, and he escapes, of course, and Ravager's with him now. And then one thing that annoys me a whole lot is Prometheus is fighting these like two no-name thugs. And for those that don't know Prometheus, he's like, he took on the whole Justice League by himself. Like, he's like a Taskmaster type of character, real tough. He's taking on like these two random thugs, and he's getting beat, and it doesn't make any sense. That's not a thing. That's not a thing that happens with Prometheus. He's supposed to be amazing, and they jobbed him out. He's very much getting the Taskmaster vibes in this one, But then Batman Inc.'s coming in to help out Deathstroke Inc., which I was like super hyped about with that. So I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of 10. I had a lot of gripes with it, but the art in it's really solid. Like, gripes from the story perspective. But I'm still into it. I'm like just strapped in for this ride, and I'm still like enjoying it for the most part. Okay, so Joker number 14, and this is by James Tynan, and who does the art? The art's very good in this, so I should know. That's gonna be tough. I apologize. Giuseppe Camuncoli on the art, and yeah, so this is a lot of Jim Gordon just talking about what happened, basically. Like, I kind of hate stories like this where it's like, last one ended on a big cliffhanger, and then they're like, well, here, and then it just cuts to like the main character, like, here's what happened, and then he's telling, so it's like, oh yeah, you got away, okay, cool. Like that, I don't know. I hate that storytelling. Do you guys like it? I'm not a fan. But yeah, so he's talking about what happened, and then it cuts to what happened, and you got Vengeance and Bane, getting mad at each other, and they're fighting, and Joker's gonna leave, and then Gordon's got the gun on him, smoking a pipe, and then it cuts to Gordon just showing him and Gotham and stuff and dealing with different stuff. And then Babs calls him, and she's like, he knows, talking about Batman. He's like, I guess I knew that was coming. Love you, Babs. And she's like, love you too, Dad. And then he goes to his house, and he's still just thinking back to then what happened and stuff, and all the different all these different things. And he sits down, and then Batman's like, where's the Joker? And that's how it ends. And, he's going to have to tell him the story that, Joker's not dead because Joker's not dying. And then the backup story is a punchline story that I didn't read, so I'm not going to even talk about that one. But yeah, like, even though I dislike how this story was done, it was actually still good. So, yeah, I'm going to give it a, like, punchline story knocks it down a few. And yeah, there's different little things I wasn't super hot on, but all in all, this was still pretty sweet. I'll say, I don't know, probably 7.5. I liked it, but I don't know, it's still different things kind of annoyed me throughout. Now, Godzilla versus the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers by Colin Bunn and Freddie Williams III. Art, it's great. You got the Megazord fighting Godzilla, and that was awesome. It kind of ends in a stalemate, which, I'm not the biggest fan of. Godzilla should have just destroyed him. Goldar's there, and like, I don't know. I can't do his voice, but Goldar has the funniest voice to me. I was playing the Power Rangers game, and like anytime he shows up, oh my god, it kills me. It's so funny. So when I'm reading this, I have that voice in my head. Kills me. So funny. Look up Goldar's voice if you don't know it. And I don't know. It just makes me laugh. You get to see Gigan in this, and he beats up on them because like the Megazord, they get back in the Megazord to try to fight. You know, like because after Godzilla and them wrecked each other, the Megazord's really weak. So then when Gigan shows up, they try to fight it, and Godzilla's just gone. Godzilla's like, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight anymore. I'm tired. And so then they have to fight Gigan by themselves, and Gigan wrecks them, and it's a pretty sweet fight. That book was a great time. I am really happy that there's good Godzilla, because that last Godzilla story I wasn't super hot on, and it kind of like hurt me on the inside a good bit, but this is just fun. I'm gonna say 8.5 out of 10. I had a great time. That's too low, I think. I'm gonna say 9.5 out of 10. I think it was like, I wouldn't say it's perfect. There was different little moments I didn't love enough for a 10 out of 10, but it's good. Okay, so Thor 750, and this has got a whole slew of people, but the main story is by Donny Cates and Nick Klein, and then we have featuring remembrances of the almighty Odin. That's from those that knew him best: Jason Aaron, Des Pastoros, Al Ewing and Lee Garbett, Dan Jurgens, Walter Simonson, and J. Michael Straczynski, and Oliver Coipe. So yeah, so I'm going to first read what Jake said about this, because I actually texted him to try to get his opinion, because I know this is like something that he is the target audience for, you know? So he sent me, and again, going to try to put this up here for you guys to read it. But yeah, like he says, I really like the story issue. Usually these compilation issues are whatever stories, but I like pretty much all of them. Some even continue plots from series that ended years ago, which is crazy but cool if you like those series. Waltz was great. If you're a Beta Ray Bill fan, then there's no reason you won't like it. It was also great seeing JMS and Oliver Coipe, I don't know how you say his name, team up again for another story. It was just packed full of Thor comic nostalgia. 9 out of 10 for me. Can't wait for Banner of War. Now, see, my problem with this, though, and something that me and him actually texted about after that, is this is supposed to be the funeral for Odin and whatnot, and Thor's like, and he's like, oh, we're finally become the thing. I'm trying to find the part where he says this. He's like, since the days of birth, the first king, the board, for those who see, for you to see, only the king of Asgard may read the hidden pages of the Book of Kings. That enchantment has been the law. And so what's funny about that, though, is he then goes to the Book of Kings, and like the first story is a Better Ray Bill story. I'm sorry, my contacts bother me. Which it's like, has nothing to do with Odin. It's just a Better Ray Bill story. It's like, I like Better Ray Bill. This seems very out of place. And then the next one, it's like, this one actually kind of works. It's the Dan Jurgens story, and it's like the seduction of power, and it's like Thor getting these amped up weapons and stuff, and the recorder's there from a Hercules book. That's where I knew him from originally, and Odin's like trying to teach him that there's too much power, bud, and he then teaches him that. But then like the JMS one, it's just like Thor making a will. It's like, oh, okay, that's great for Odin's funeral, I guess. Then the Al Ewing story is a story all about Loki traveling through different realities and stuff, and being quirky at his dad's funeral, and then apologizing and being mad that Loki did it, and then he's like, oh wait, you didn't do it, I'm a girl now, by the way. I don't know, I just didn't care. Like, then the Jason Aaron story is actually like a Odin story, which is good. And then the last bit, his actual body being burnt and stuff, and then it's like the big setup for the next story is there, and that was really cool, but a lot of it just kind of was like, okay, So Yeah, where Jake really liked it, I was pretty let down. I'm gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10. It's a good thing he's not on this with me, because he would be freaking out, just threatening to punch me in the face or something probably. And I know he's not listening, so it's fine. Okay, so Action Comics 1042, and this is by Philip Kennedy Johnson, and I'll try to find the artist's name. Riccardo Federici on the art. Art's gorgeous as it has been. Stories great. Yeah, nothing to dislike about it. Looks like stuff is changing. We get a Steel sighting, which is cool. Man, I really just like this book. And then the backup, it's by Sean Aldridge and Adrian Mello. Martian Manhunter does something Jake the dog would do from Adventure Time, where he put his whole brain in like the tip of his tongue, bit it off, spit it out, and then when they attacked him, then he was able to reconstruct himself from that little bit of his brain that he had spit out. It's crazy. But yeah, no, this is a good time. This book is just awesome. Like, there's nothing really bad you can say about it. I'm gonna give this a 10 out of 10. You guys need to be reading Action Comics if you haven't been. There's so many good character moments in this for Superman. Since every time we do this, Jake always finds one to read. And there's one where I was like looking through this, I'm like, oh, this is the one. I just have to find it. So they're waging their battle right now, and so okay. Here he's like, Mongol and him are talking or fighting each other, and they're talking. It's like, this will end as before, and this time. Oh, he's like, first he goes, you have learned nothing, still surrounding yourself with lesser creatures. This will end as before, and this time I will harvest your bones. It's like, lesser creatures? You don't understand a damned thing. I'm not gonna edit that out either. It's like, these people are stronger than you or I will ever be. They've been through trials that should have killed them. They've never had power gems or heat vision or the strength of gods, but they never give up. They're not lesser, they're more than we are. Can't you see that? Can you really not see what I see in them? And you say that I've learned nothing? I've never seen such blindness, such arrogance. You think caring for others is weakness, but underestimating them is yours. Pretty awesome. Just a really good, like I said, really, really good Clark character moment. So yeah, it's a great book. Like I said, read it. Okay, Last Ronin, and this is by Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, and Tom Waltz. The scripting is Tom Waltz and Kevin Eastman. Layouts Kevin Easton. Pencils by Esu and Isaac Escorza, Ben Bishop, and Kevin Eastman. Oh man, guys, this book, I want to get like a hardcover trade of it too, because it's so good. Like, there's a little bit of like the angsty Casey stuff going on, but Mikey goes and he fights his way through all of them, and then he meets up with the big bad, and he's got his armor on, and they fight. And yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it. Like, it's kind of like what happened, I kind of knew it was gonna happen, but it was good. Like, it's so dang good. And I sent the gift to Jake. You know that part, like, that's the very common like office gif when but it's like when I think it's Jim is telling Michael goodbye on his last day, and like Michael's like, and he's like trying not to cry, like smiling cry. That's how I was with like with this book. It was very good, very just enjoyable. I don't know if you have any connection to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you should read it. It's very good. It's a 10 out of 10. I'm just handing out 10s like I'm Alexander Hamilton. I don't know. I've not seen the musical. Okay, so Saga 58. This is by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. Staples is so awesome. And so yeah, this book is just another great Saga issue. and I loved it. I mean, I don't really. You just get like these people that all these people are, cool. They're creeps. They're terrible, but they're awesome. And and there's some stuff building up for the next issue and the next probably 5 issues when Brian K. Vaughan kills characters we love and makes me mad because he's good at that. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Like, to me, a Saga has to be like, it's Saga's so good all the time that to be getting like I'd be giving it 10s all the time, so I'm holding it to a higher regard. That's why I didn't get a 10 this time, if that makes any sense. Okay, and so lastly, I'm gonna go with Rogues Book 2. And this is by Joshua Williamson and Leo Max on the art. I like this. It's very much a like stereotypical, like, it goes into all like the tropes of the crime stuff, and that's my main problem though. It's like Gorilla City does not seem like the Gorilla City that has been in other comics, and like Grodd doesn't seem like Grodd. Like, Grodd seems like a mob boss. He does not seem like Gorilla Grodd, So that's like the main downside to this book, but I'm still like in on this ride. I'm still enjoying it. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's an 8.5 for me. I like it a lot. It's just that one thing, and I'm like really hoping that they can do more books like this. Jake was talking about the Salmon Mysteries Theater last week. It's like, why not do more books, that like weird like this, where you kind of do these different type of ideas, and Salmon Mystery Theater would be a perfect one for that. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about what I'm excited for next week, since Jake's not here, so I don't have anyone to steal my stuff from me this time, which is pretty sweet. So I'm gonna say Batman for sure, because like I said, I'm just so into the death, the Shadow Rain, Deathstroke, whatever. I don't know what it's called, but it's cool, and I'm really into it. Who needs to know the name of something to like it, Then I'm gonna say Maestro World War M, because I've been enjoying that a good bit. And then I'll say Task Force Z. Maybe we'll get some Bane stuff that, so I can understand what the heck is going on there. Oh, no, never mind. One Star Squadron. I've missed them. Okay, and so then now it's time for Fantastic Four. So I'm just going to give you guys my 4 favorite Neil Adam covers. So I'm going to like say the numbers, because, and then I'm going to try to post them, bam, and then bam, bam, bam. So we'll see how that goes. But the first one, it's Batman number 246. And the reason why I love this one, I've never seen this except like when I was looking at Neil Adam covers, but it's it's Batman coming through the door, opening up the door. He's got a flashlight. He's like, Robin, oh no, not again. And Robin's just hanging. And it's like, how many ways can a Robin die? I hope one is at least with a crowbar, And then the next one would be, this is like such a cool issue. I saw it in like a back of a Wizard magazine. I didn't know Neil Adams did it, but it's issue number 76 of Green Lantern, Green Arrow. And you have Green Lantern getting his, charge up his battery, and then Green Arrow shooting it with an arrow, which is like kind of a jerk move, but still is pretty cool. And then The Demon Lives Again, Batman number 244. This is an iconic cover. It looks awesome. And then the one that I have hanging on my wall, I'm having troubles even seeing what the number is, because it's one of the prestige ones. It's a Batman. It's a 76-page novel in comic form, and it's awesome. It's Ra's al Ghul. It's a Ra's al Ghul cover. But yeah, that's the show this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, so follow us. The time to do the plugs, I have to look it up because I always have Jake do it because I don't know the plugs. So follow us on Facebook, like and share and all that stuff on Facebook at Two Worlds Podcast, facebook.com/Two Worlds Podcast. Go to our Instagram at Two Worlds Pod. Talk to me on Twitter at 2_worlds_PC. Send Jake some emails at twoworldspodcast@gmail. Go to our YouTube page, which isn't written down here. I'm sure it's Two Worlds Podcast. And, subscribe and like and hit the bell notification. And then leave a comment that says, I hit the bell notification. You're welcome. I don't know. Then review us wherever you're listening to us. I can't see the reviews because of the fact that I'm an Android user, but Jake can. So if you leave a review a couple months down the line, he may see it. Isn't that exciting? But yeah, I'd love to stay in chat, but it's honestly past my bedtime. Bye, guys.